Hi guys! For today's video, we will discuss to you what happened on the period of activism. But first, let me ask you this. Do you have any idea what happened on the period of activism? Well, we will find out at the end of this video.
So now, we are going to explain and discuss to you the different topics that are all related in the period of activism, which began on 1970 until 1972.
But before anything else, what do you think is the importance of knowing and learning the period of activism? That is for us to be able to understand how the Filipino youth of yesterday were able to stand up and voice out their insights and oppositions against the current government at that time.
Period of activism includes historical background, the seeds of activism, period of bloody placards, the literary revolution, writings during the period of activism, Palangka Awards for literature in English, and writers during this period.
Did you know that the seed of activism resulted in the declaration of martial law in 1972? Also in this period, youth became complete rebellious, and in this time is the birth of so-called period of bloody placards.
Let's find out. Let's start.
Now, let's talk about the historical background of period of activism. According to Pineda, youth activism in 1970 to 1972 was due to domestic and worldwide causes. Activism is connected with the history of our Filipino youth. Because of the ills of the society, the youth moved to seek reforms. Some continue to believe that the democratic government is stable, that it is only the people running the government who is fault. Some believe that socialism or communism should replace democracy. Some armed groups were formed to bring down the democratic form of government.
Now, it is time to learn about the seeds of activism and the period of bloody placards. The seeds of activism resulted in the declaration of martial law in 1972. We can, however, say that the seeds were already sown from the times of Lapu-Lapu, Lacandula, and Rizal. The revolution against the powerful forces in the Philippines can be said to be the monopoly of the youth, in whose veins flowed the fire in their blood. What Rizal said of the youth being the hope of the fatherland is still valid even today. Period of bloody placards. Pineda also said that this has the time when the youth once more proved that it is not the constant evasion that shapes our race and nationalism. There is a limit to one's patience. It may explode like a volcano if overstrained.
The literary revolution. In this period, youth became very rebellious, not only through bloody demonstrations and rallying, but also through the use of pen and paper. The common theme of campus newspapers is revolt for the Marcos administration. It served as an outlet to let everyone know their stand in the Marcos regime. The once aristocratic writers developed an awareness to the society. They held and wrote on placards in red paint the word makibaka, which means to join in a group with shared goals. Filipinos usually use these words in protest if they don't like a policies enforced with the government. This literary revolution attacked the problems of the society and politics. Writing during the period of activism. The irreverence for the poor reached its peak during the mass revolution. The government didn't take seriously the voice of every citizen. It was also in this period that bomba films that described our ways as a Filipinos started to come out. Bomba films featured nudity as well as simulated sex scenes that were tangential to the plot. It is basically a pornographic movie. Bomba films are popular in the period of activism. It sometimes serves as a platform to disseminate political messages, and filmmakers use bomba films to portray social issues.
Palangka Awardees for Literature in English. Established in 1950, the Palangka Memorial Awards had been giving cash prizes for short story, poetry, and one-act playwriting as an incentive to Filipino writers. The prizes come from La Tondena, a firm established by the late Carlos Palanca Sr. for the list of winners from 1950 to 1951 to 1950 to 1970. For English short story, which began from 1970 to 1971. First prize, The Ritual by Cirilio F. Bautista. Second prize, Bees in the Fields by Priscel Mojares. And third prize, Children in the City by Amadis Guerrero. For English short story, which began from 1971 to 1972. First prize, The Tomato Game by NVM Gonzalez. Second prize, The Apollo Centennial by Gregorio C. Brillantes. And third prize, After This Are Exile by Elsa Martinez Coscolweta. And for English one-act play, which started from 1970 to 1971. First prize, The Grotesque Among Us by Maiden Flores. Second prize, Age of Prometheus by Jesus T. Peralta. And third prize, Operation Pacification by Alfredo O. Cuenco Jr.
So now, we will proceed to the writers during this period. Days of Disquiet, Nights of Rage, The First Quarter Storm, and related events are all written by Josef Lacaba. Describing this period, he writes the first quarter of the year 1970 was a glorious time, a time of terror and of wrath, but also a time for hope. A powerful storm was sweeping the land, a storm whose inexorable advance no earthly force could stop, and the name of the storm was history. He mentions that those students demonstrating at that time knew and were aware that what they were doing would be crucial to our country's history. Students' leaders thought up grandiose names for those organizations, and hence that proliferations of acronyms like SOCR, YDS, KTPD, SABUPA, SMP, KKK, KM, and MDP, and SDK. Politicians endorsed bills for those who interfered with students' demonstrations. Mayor Antonio Villegas himself, on February 16, 1970, led demonstrators away from angry policemen. Other politicians like Eva Estrada Calao and Salvador Laurel, Benigno Aquino Jr., wrote about condemnation of politics and brutalities. Other writers strove to pour out their anguish and frustrations in words, describing themselves as gasping for the air, thirsting for the water of freedom. Thus, the Philippine Center for the International PEN, or Poets, Essayists, and Novelists, held a conference centering on the writer's lack of freedom in a climate of fear.
Now that we have seen and heard all the actions and movements commonly being led by the youths, we can still say that the youths are the hope and of course the future of the community, if only we perform our roles in the society. And that is to support the things we see are for the betterment of the community and oppose those which are not.
In this period, I realized that youth is really something. Fearless, courage, greatness is within their hearts. Baby Rizal is right, that the kabataan ng pag-asa ng bayan.
And that concludes our educational vlog
about all the topics covered in the period of activism.
So, we hope that you learned something from our video discussion. In summary, we can all say that the period of activism is concerned with the history of our Filipino youth. Because of ills of society, the youth moved to seek reforms. Alright, that's gonna do it for the period of activism. If you did a picture or learned something, leave a like. Thank you for joining us in the next video or whatever you happen to see us in the next. See you there. Bye.